I just want to talk to you about marriage and what's the need of getting married. And we'll begin with the story of a young boy and a girl. They both are from different religion and they wanted to get married, but because of this Indian situation where two people from two different religion or two different caste cannot get married because of the social situations here, this boy and girl are from different religion and they decided not to get married but to live together. And they lived together for so long time and they started asking questions to other people, why you want to get married? Even without marriage you can live with somebody without any legal bondages, without any commitments. You can live with a person if you want, or else you can live simple single. And what's the need of getting married? They started spreading this message to many people. And that's actually a good question to ask. Why should one get married? If not married, what's going to happen? What's wrong with that? And who said you should get married? And it is just a social practice that was existing for so long time that people gets married. The moment a boy or girl gets the age of marriage, everyone started asking them, when is your marriage? Why you're not getting married? And if some person thinks that it is better not to get married and live a life single, and what's wrong? Who can blame them? And that's what we're going to discuss today in this short video. I believe that it is necessary for every person to get married unless you have taken some decisions like the priests, the nuns, or because of some religious reasons or some commitments like that. Maybe you're sick, or because of some reasons like that. If you have decided not to get married, it is fine. I have no questions about that. But if you're a person who decided not to get married because you hate marriage, you're skeptic about marriage, if you're a person like that, I have something to tell you through this video. Only selfish people say, I don't want to get married. Because we need to understand, marriage is about sharing yourself with other people, another person, caring for another person. It is being compassionate towards another person. And marriage is something that shares a physical intimacy. Of course, physical intimacy is there. At the same time, a mental or moral intimacy. At the same time, you are sharing a spiritual intimacy as well in your marriage. And in marriage, the beauty of marriage is that you're getting a person to be with you forever. You can share jokes with, you can share your troubles with, you can share your problems with, and you're getting a person to be with you legally, and the society accepts that happily, and a person of that sort along with you. And we need to understand, marriage is that which makes families. It is a human act. Only human beings make families and commitments with another person. The animals and other creatures, they remain single. They remain without marriage. They don't want to get married. They don't have to. Nobody asked them to get married. Every tree is unmarried. Every animal is unmarried. When they need some physical intimacy, they go approach opposite sex from their own category and they come back. And they don't make any commitments. But human beings are not like that. The society requires a marriage to happen between a man and a woman in order to have families. Also, the family concept to be continued. The emotional support you receive from your own family is totally different from the support you may get from your friend's house or from a colleague's house or your roommate, and it's totally different. Many times when we get a leave from our workplace or our hostel, wherever we stay, we get a chance to go home for what? To be with our parents who are husband and wife, who are our parents, and we love them, and where they live, that is called as our family. Marriage is the best context for children to grow. They feel so safe in a marriage, in a family where husband and wife are married. And I will talk about the mental and physical problems a child is facing if their husband and wife is not married. I will talk about that later. In a marriage, you don't have to live in shame to come to public. A man and woman who are not married but they're living together, they have to, they cannot come to the society so boldly. If you're a single person, you are single and unmarried, you cannot come to the society will not accept you. You may say the society is bad and that's why they are not accepting me. Many things we can say like that, but the thing is that the society expects you to show that human attitude of getting married, because the society has somehow learned for ages, for generations, that only animals and only non-humans do not get married, because they don't think about a family and the concept like that. And parents rejoices when a child is getting married. The most joyous moment in the life of a parent, a father or mother, is that when their children are getting married. They don't get any joy than their children getting married in their lifetime, in their married lifetime. Sharing love and sharing life are different. You can share your love with anyone, but sharing life requires commitment, and that requires so much of patience that you need to have. And if you're married, you get a legal recognition and a social recognition. You may think, I don't want that. But there's a time coming in your life where you will have to have the social and the legal recognition for your marriage. I will tell you the story of a person who was living together. I read it in the social media, and a man and woman were living together. They lived for so long time, and 10 years they lived like that. They didn't have any children. 10th year she met with an accident and she was in the hospital, and the hospital authorities called this man and said, this so and so lady is in the hospital, so come quickly. He rushed to the hospital because it is his love partner. He rushed to the hospital and he said, okay, go ahead and do the surgery, I will pay all the money. But the doctor said, since it's a little risky one, we can't do the surgery without having sufficient authority, authorization from the family members. And then he said, no family members are here. We live in a different country. All our family members are in different places, different other countries. Then it was difficult for the hospital to take a risk like that. So they waited for some time, and after 1 or 2 hours, they agreed for his sign as an authority giving authorization for the surgery to be performed. But it was a little late. By the time she was becoming more worse, after the surgery is done, she came back to life, and he started taking care of her. She was completely sick, and again 2 more years he took care of her. And after 2 years, they met with a lot of difficulties like insurance and her bank account things, her property things, because it's all in different names. He cannot be the owner of anything like that because they're not married. And after 12 years, they decided to get married. And after marriage, they saw that she was getting better and she was coming back to life, and they lived for some more time. And they got children. And later on, I read from the social media that they have started advising people to get married when you are young only. It is always good to get married when you are young. A successful marriage requires effort, commitment, willingness, transparency, selflessness, etc. You might have seen many marriages which is ending up in failure, many divorces happening in the society. And looking at that, some people say, why should I get married in order to have a divorce happening? Life is broken. Physical torture, mental torture. And why should I go for all that? It is good for me to stay single and lead a life like this, away from the society, away from the mainline community. But I must tell you one thing, that you must have seen many marriages ending up in failure, in divorces. But we have to understand, there are thousands and hundreds of thousands marriages which are successful, but only some failed marriages would come in the limelight, in the social media, in the newspaper. But the successful marriage stories are not coming there. And your father's marriage, your mother's marriage was a success, and that's why you are here. And just because there are problems in some of the families is not a message to you that you should not get married so that you will have problems in life. And you see, we all travel in vehicles, we all travel in cars, bikes, and trains, flights, etc. Have you ever thought about how many people died in the previous years in bike accident, in car accident, in flight accidents? How many people? Hundreds of people died. But that doesn't stop us from entering into a vehicle, owning a vehicle, driving a vehicle. We know that, yes, I'll be safe, I'll come back. And why don't you apply that same confidence, same principle in the matter of marriages as well? And when one person in a marriage life, 2 people are there, one becomes selfish, problem started. When both of them are willing to share their life, live together happily, adjustments, lot of adjustments, submissions that you're making, that will make the marriage beautiful. When that's not happening, marriages might end up in failures. Looking at that, you should not be a person who says that I don't want to get married because it's dangerous. You should never be a person who says that. Now, we need to understand marriage gives us the best joy when you build a house, go for a tour, getting a promotion, a position in the society. If you're single, you will not have the joy of any of these good things that are happening in your life. Your joy will be much more than being single in all these things that is happening in your life. And children who are born outside the marriage will have a tendency always. I will talk about this in detail in another video, but I just want to say some of the things like that. Children who are born outside a marriage relationship, they will be the victims of child abuse. They will slip into poverty. They will fail in the school. They will be the dropouts. They start using drugs, sexual abuse. Some of them becomes teen mothers, and divorces happens in them, depression at its peak, and they have suicidal tendency. And there are so many more causes happening to children who are born outside a wedlock. Therefore, marriage is the best protection, best place for children to grow. That is their comfort zone. A family is the place where children can grow peacefully, safely, without any problem. No families would welcome an unmarried person into their family. When you visit a family, they will be happy if you're a married man, and they will not be happy if you are not a married person. They will always have a suspicion, they will always have a reservation over a person who is not married. I will tell you one quotation from Mitch Massman, who is a blogger. He said, "Being married has allowed me to be the best version of myself. It has allowed me and my wife to have someone to lean on in the most crucial moments of our young life." And also the statistics shows that being unmarried is one of the most significant health risks that people voluntarily subject themselves to. And I will read a quotation from Mrs. Shane, a teacher, an English teacher, says, "I wasn't always very close to my family, but after I got married, my spouse's large family welcomed me with open arms. Celebrating holidays and so on with them really made me feel like I was part of a large circle of love, and it helped me to understand healthy family dynamics." This is a psychological thing that we have to understand. Till the age of 6, almost around age, we feel nothing about marriage. If you talk about marriage with someone, you feel nothing till the age of 6. And in the teenage, we are shy to speak about marriage. And after 2022, we start saying yes or no to marriage. According to the situation that we went through during our teenage times, we decide whether to get married. Sometimes this teenage can be extended a little more, up to maybe 25 years of age. The experiences that we've been going through during this time makes us to think and evaluate whether we should get married or not. Marriage may sometimes sound binding when you are young, but at a weak stage, you would think I should have married earlier. Young age is a time where we think so much about freedom. And you will come to the conclusion that marriage will not give me freedom, so why to get married? And let me tell you, we are all limited to some sort of bindings in our life. Sometimes that restrictions makes life so beautiful. We know that in a football match, there are so many rules to be followed. In a cricket match, so many rules to be followed. And it is that rules makes a football match so attractive and so nice to see. And if there are no rules, anyone can play anywhere. Football match or cricket match doesn't make it beautiful. In life also, there are certain principles that we have to strictly follow. Those laws and small restrictions in our life that makes our life so beautiful. Marriage, there are some lack of freedom in marriage. Definitely, I agree with that. But in marriage, there's a lot of freedom. If you have a good partner with you, you have a lot of freedom. You will start enjoying your life like anything. And you will be more productive in your workplace. You will have more result in your workplace. And that is what we need to understand. You will be more useful. You will be more proactive. You will be more responsive. And you will be more capable and efficient after your marriage. That is what the statistics say. It's not just my opinion. That's what the studies proves. The physical, emotional, social, psychological and economical needs will be there for both married and unmarried people. Some people proudly say, I will share all my wealth to charitable organizations. After my death, or maybe before my death, I will share it. But let me tell you, it's not an easy process. A person who is unwilling to share his life with a partner for few days that they're having in this world, you're so selfish that you don't want to share your life with someone, and you are proudly saying, I will share all my wealth with the charitable organization. Now you need to remember, charitable organizations do not want your money, your wealth, your property, etc. They are not there for that. You think about yourself. First you save yourself, and then if you have money, you can share with the charitable organizations. If at all you go through a situation where you have to write off everything for a charitable organization at the deathbed, it will be like tearing your heart apart. You will die early. You will be peaceless. And towards the end, you will be like looking at death, looking at life with fear and, trembling. You will not be able to face your days, face a minute in your life boldly, because you have to go through this process of writing off everything that you have for an organization, which who knows what, and who is going to be the owner of all that. It's not easy. So don't think and don't proudly say that I'm going to share it all with a charitable. You share first it with a partner for you, and then you think about sharing it with charitable organizations. And also it says that the self-esteem would skyrocket at a marriage. Some people at the age of 40s, single, try to find happiness at work, church, orphanages to find acceptance. Later they will realize that, it was just a manipulation. I just want to talk about this for a few minutes. And there are many people finding meaning in life. They were single, and till 40 or 50 years of age, they were single, and they have started feeling that loneliness, feeling depression, and the only way for them to come out of this depression, feeling lonely, is to work hard in their workplace, and the managers would like them, and the bosses would appreciate them for their hard work, and they will think, yeah, I'm getting some appreciation, so it is good for me to continue in this, and they will work like anything. I am a pastor. I have seen some of the people in some of the churches, unmarried people. They work so hard for the church. They do everything on behalf of the pastor. And the pastor loves them so much. But it's the responsibility of every pastor to make sure that the believers in your church are getting married. Don't manipulate them. Don't use them. They may be active in the ministry. You have to understand. They are active because they don't find joy in anything else. They don't have a family to share their joy with. They don't have a partner to share their joy with. Don't manipulate them. In the workplace also, managers, please remember, don't manipulate these people. They are doing it just because they want to find some happiness in their life. If they are young, they will not have the understanding to realize that the happiness I find in this, other people may call me as a committed person, but it's all because I have decided not to get married and live some. You're trying to find some meaning in life. You're trying to find some happiness in life. That is what is happening with you right now. So many things I've been sharing with you, and I just want to say some of the things from the Bible as well before I end this video. Biblical perspective on marriage. What does Bible says? I'm not talking about marriage right now. Need to get married. That's what I'm talking about. Bible says it is better to be in family than being alone. Marriage is honorable in all. Hebrews chapter 13 verse 4. And in that passage, family is an institution instituted by God himself. And first thing God did for man was to put him in a family. Adam was put in a family. And therefore the Bible says marriage is honorable in every other institutions. Every other things that you would see in the world. Marriage has its beauty. Marriage has its greatness and acceptance. Someone asked Sri Buddha, should I have a companion? Buddha said, it is better to walk alone than to walk with a fool. Buddha was, I think he was against marriage, against people getting married. Sadhguru humorously said, it is better to find a similar fool than to walk alone. In the book of John's Gospel, chapter 15, verse 13 says, greater love has no man than this, that a man laid down his life for his friend. 1 Corinthians chapter 13 speaks so much about love and different kinds of love we can see there. And unmarried people always say, I love other people, I give my love to other people. But the best way to give your love to others is is to give your life to others and not just giving love, sharing love to others. And it says, greater love has no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his. You are laying down your life for a friend of yours, a partner of yours who lived with you, who shared your bedroom, who shared your bed with you for so long time. You're giving up everything for that person, and that is the beauty of marriage. When you have somebody to look at, when you have somebody to wait for you in your house, when you have somebody to ask your well-being, when you have somebody to give you some medicine when you're sick, when you have somebody to take you to hospital when you are in need, when there is somebody to comfort you when you find financial problem, when you find problems in your workplace. And that is what is called living your life, giving up everything for a partner. And Genesis chapter 1 verse 28 says, multiply and fill the earth. God's plans for man to multiply and fill the whole earth was through marriage. And that is why God created Eve. God made Eve and gave her to Adam. God's plan was that the whole earth should be filled with human beings. How? And it has to happen through a marriage. And that's the beauty of marriage. When animals, they live a free life, but human beings are bound to one person, bound to life. And that's why we say anything that happens in a family is good for the family, and that is God's plan actually. You will have children, and the children and their children and their children, they all will be blessed, and they will fill the whole earth, and that is God's plan. God has no plans to fill the earth with human beings outside a marriage relationship. Proverbs chapter 18:22 says, he who finds a wife finds good thing. So what is the good thing? Good thing is that a person who is finding a wife, or it can be a husband also, in their life. Proverbs 19:14 says, house and wealth are inherited from fathers, but a prudent wife is from the Lord. When we say wife, it can be husband also in this context. You may be able to inherit a lot of wealth, but when you find a wife in your life, you have to remember the wife to you, a husband to you, is given by the Lord and not by a man. Genesis chapter 2 verse 18, it says, it's not good that a man should be alone. I will make him a helper fit for him. And that is God's plan. And when we come to the conclusion, we once again say that it's not good for a man to be alone. God will make him a helper, and be willing to accept the helper which God has given us, and we'll be able to live happily with that partner whom God gives us in our life. And I pray that this small video would help you to decide on whether to live single or to fulfill God's plans in your life, that you will be fruitful and multiply the whole earth with generations. May God bless you through the listening of this message. Thank you.